Yeah, Mark.
I'll also start recording that too.
Perfect. Thank
you. Awesome. Sounds like we got this recording. But yeah, so yeah, appreciate the intro, Dwayne. I had a question, or at least an item for consideration. I don't necessarily care whether we discuss it or not. I do want to present it as something that I'm interested in. And that is basically tying in the economic dynamics with the respect token. So I'll leave it at that. But this is what I've thought about with the Eden fractal. And now here, I think about it now that we're in the early exploratory period, is the time to consider that. So it's on the table, because I hadn't said that to anyone, but that is finally I realized that that's what I'd say is my primary interest with these new fractals.
Yeah, that's a great point. And yeah, I think right after the call, we're going to kind of leave it open to an open discussion and kind of go into the crown call. But just that really quickly, what I've done in the background to kind of keep records of who's participating is everyone gets an NFT, but I did start a new token on Wax, and I am following the Go Fractally Fibonacci spiral that, you know, when we go into our breakout rooms, we're doing a 3 or 4 minute introduction. And if you're new to Alien Worlds, it's basically just share what you're passionate about. And for those that have contributed to Alien Worlds, just kind of give your overall contributions. When we start getting into the flow week after week, it'll be more about last week's contribution. But then we break out into our breakout rooms, and the whole exercise is for us to come to consensus. So a bunch of people, you know, agreeing, 66% of us, or 4 out of 5, or is that right? 4 out of 5, or 3 out of 5, or 4 out of 6. Yeah, and what we're doing is we're not rating the people. We're trying to just discuss and come to consensus on who we think had the most contributions, and there's no right or wrong. And once you have that, you post who you believe did the most contributions at the top of a list, and just post it in the chat. And we're calling the person that we feel contributed the most has a mythical level, and then it goes down to legendary, epic, rare. But what I've done is create a Wax token where the person that got the highest is getting a fractal token and getting 21 fractals. So I thought that would be at least a way to do it on Wax. But I agree, the whole point of this is to experiment with fractal governance, and be ready for the launch of the fractal chain, so that we can use their more advanced systems of liquidity pairs and really show that we put in some work here. You know what I mean? The rewards you're getting, you know, in Trillium and Crown and NFTs is nice and all, but really the whole point is for us to be kind of leaders in this fractal process to help other communities. But then obviously to get our respect that's due to us when this new system comes on board. So I completely agree. And I'll just repeat myself just a little bit. I think it's worthwhile for the new people that where this birthed from was Dan Larimer's book, More Equal Animals, and a Go Fractally process. And we just took this opportunity to invite our group to participate with governance. And I thought, since Crown and a lot of the people here are involved in Alien Worlds, and the whole path for us was using EOS stack and our governance models, and Alien Worlds is following that path and going to be playing with governance, that this would just be another experiment and not competing with what they're doing, but rather just showing that community, hey, you're recognized, we appreciate your effort, come and get rewarded, come network. But then for sure, not losing sight that, we are at the forefront of a new blockchain that hasn't been launched yet. And the only tokens that are giving out right now, at least on pen and paper, or that little wax ƒractal token, is based on this participation. So there's no pre-mine. The Fractally team and Dan aren't leaving themselves some tokens. The only Fractal tokens that are given out are for people part of this process. So in the first meeting, I really didn't go into why we were doing this, but that is one intent for you to kind of learn a little bit more about Go Fractally, and hopefully as excited as we are that, we're at the beginning of a new blockchain, and that comes with risks like anything new. We're donating our time for this process, and we'll kind of wait and see what Dan does. But out of the experience we've all had for a long time in governance, there's been a lot of lessons learned, and I, for one, think it's going to be a success. But yeah, with that, I will just open up to a couple questions and then go really quickly over the agenda. I know we're running a little late, but I think it's worthwhile to kind of preface this and give some ideas why we're doing this. But if there's any questions, I'll just pull up on my screen kind of a quick agenda.
I have questions about last week. Were there supposed to be any NFTs? Because okay, I watched my wallet. Nothing was there, so I thought I'd follow up how that went, or if it was like a dry run, or.
Yeah, I used an old format of an NFT, and it wasn't on Atomic. I actually used the first NFT standard, which was simple assets. But I'll double check, David, because I checked who got NFTs, and I was sure that everyone got one. So I'll double check after the meeting, and for some reason, if you got missed, I'll send that out. I've moved to the Atomic Assets one, so just be patient with me this week. I'm relearning the whole NFTs, and want to kind of make sure that this one's really nice. But right after the meeting, everyone will be getting Trillium based on how your breakout room gave you a level. Everyone's going to be getting some Crown, and then the NFT will follow maybe in a day or two. There are some random prizes too. I'll do some random wheels where there's a random prize of 1,000 Trillium and 1,000,000 Crown as well. So kind of make it exciting.
I got it. So by going to wax.simplemarket.io, you can then click on My Assets, and then you will see if you were here last week, you go to author ƒractal.moon, and then it will show you if there's any, you can view it like that. I'm just so used to Atomic, but yeah, I got it.
Right. And I saw it just show up when I went to the block site. I think if you went to Atomic, I didn't check. It's not a whitelisted account, so it might not show up. And sometimes just unclicking that whitelist button might make it appear.
Well, Atomic will not show simple assets. It only shows Atomic assets.
Of course, yeah.
So that's why I was kind of right. Oh yeah, it's simple distribution. Of course, it's not going to be Atomic. Okay, I gotcha.
Well, I'm going to split us in breakout rooms right away. And one of the things I see everyone, thank you so much for just right clicking and putting your Wax account name in your Zoom If I can ask someone to record in the room that I'm not in for the breakout room, I'd really appreciate it. And one of the things to kind of keep the flow going is maybe have an early consensus, or someone just nominate themselves to be the kind of moderator. And then what else? I had one other point here. Oh, maybe if someone just wants to kind of keep people on time as well, I'd say maybe about 3 minutes of an intro. And for those that are new and haven't even played Alien Worlds and contributed, please just share what you're passionate about. This has been a really great networking process for everybody. So, I've made some good alliances and new work alliances through the process. So just feel free to kind of share a bit about yourself. Yeah, Dan.
Cool. Thanks, Dwayne. I guess I have two questions. One, just regarding the schedule. So how much time will we have for the breakout room?
Yeah, we kind of ran a little bit late. It is up to you folks. Our Crown meeting, a large portion of this group kind of continues into the Crown meeting after this. So I would just ask anybody if they have a hard stop, because I can go a little bit past the hour. Right now we have it's half an hour to the hour, but does anyone have a hard stop, or do you guys want to go maybe for 40 minutes, which would be 10 past, and give maybe 20 minutes for introductions and what you've contributed, and then 20 minutes to come to consensus?
I got a hard stop at the full hour.
Okay, well, I want to make sure everyone's included, so maybe we'll do a little bit of short. Sometimes consensus runs a little bit over, and maybe for the larger discussions or questions and stuff, the rest of us can stay after and maybe keep it a little bit shorter. So maybe 15 minutes then for introductions and contributions, and then 15 minutes, and we'll try and get back into this main room at the top of the hour.
Okay, cool. Sounds great. Thank you. And just one other really quick question, or just something that might be helpful to bring up. I don't know if you've been following the Eden Fractal group. James March shared like 2 days ago that having an amount of 13 people, he thought it didn't work, and I thought it could work fine with groups of 4, but I think we have 13 people right now. So I think that groups of 4 probably works fine, but I just figured I'd bring that up to you in case you want to.
Yeah, I kind of saw that. I wonder if I'd bow out and just have 2 groups, but I think 3 groups of 4 should be fine. Yeah.
Cool. Sounds good.
All right, guys, I'll break us into rooms, and I'll give a notice just before we're going to come back to the main room. All right, let's see if I can find our little button here. Whoops. All right, we'll see you guys in a bit. Have some fun. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Omer. Hey, Jason. Thanks for joining, David.
Hey, everyone.
One of the David, if you're able, oh, there we got Jason on. If you're able, one of the parts of the Go ƒractal process we're kind of keeping is that in our first room, not having a video on is fine, but part of this is kind of so other accounts can't game the system. I know you're there, but if you're able, it'd be awesome if when you do your contributions, if you can share. Oh, there you go. Awesome. Who wants to, anybody want to be the moderator? All right, I'll do it. I'll make my
I was gonna say I'm willing to, but I'm probably not the most experienced one. I mean, I'm happy to.
I've been in enough Zoom calls, Jason, that I think you're one of the better moderators out there. So I'll just start first. Contributions this week for Alien Worlds was we started in this group a beginners, brand new to Alien Worlds, and we had about 5 or 6 people start out. So Omer was there and helped me out. I realized during the session I hadn't logged out of Alien Worlds for a year. So just going through some of those new processes, like adding your first tool and mining for the first time. I'm glad you were there to help me, but yeah, that was my contributions. We kind of onboarded a few people and remembered sometimes the friction of just even getting a Wax wallet and some resources. So yeah, that's kind of what I did this week. And last week I shared my passions of why I did this, and I'm just going to share it, David, because you're new, but just another experiment in governance. And like we kind of alluded to in the beginning, is really being at the forefront of this new blockchain that Dan Larimer is coming out with. So when he released his book and said they're going to be starting a chain, the community said, why don't we just start trying this and keep these fractals and our respect token just in paper? So, you know, I just know that gaming is one of the biggest, you know, blockchain industries, and it's going to grow even more. And there's always been this pull and push of how do we reward the people that are part of the community, that are doing a lot of work and not necessarily getting paid. So this is just kind of a layer on top that's yeah, that we can network. The point of it's supposed to be fun. If it gets to be not fun, then you know, we won't continue, even if there's, you know, promises of future rewards and this whole go fractally process. It's I see the potential that a lot of companies, even if there was a bonus from a company, instead of giving people directly the bonus, maybe the company will give it to its employees, and this would be a, you know, their hour meeting at the end of the week. They have to do a report anyway, and their peers kind of rate them on what they think they contributed. So yeah, a lot of you know, I guess once again, another governance experiment. So I'll leave it at that. I'll pass it on to Dan.
Thank you for that, man.
Okay, cool. Sounds great. Thank you very much, Dwayne. Very, very much appreciated. And nice to meet you, David. Nice to see you again, Jason. And nice to see you as well, Omer, or Omar. I'm still not exactly sure how to pronounce it. Sorry. Cool. Feel free to let me know if, whoops, looks like I don't have the right window open. Hold on one second, please. Damn it. I don't understand. Okay, there I go. Okay, cool. Sorry about that. Yeah, so I'll just briefly just share what I've been doing to contribute to Alien Worlds and the Alien Worlds Fractal. I'm new to Alien Worlds, relatively new at least. I've been following it loosely for the past couple of years, but really I've done much more research into it over the past 2 weeks or so since I heard about this fractal with Dwayne. I'm really excited about fractals. So Dwayne invited me to come to the last one, and I did some research before that, just checking out the website and learning about it and checking out some recent progress. Just as an introduction to me, my name is Dan Singjoy. I'm a musician, creator, and entrepreneur working to make the best experience possible. You can learn more at dansingjoy.com if you want. I have a YouTube channel where I have music and funny videos and stuff, and I'm building Eden Creators as an organization to help everyone cooperate fractally and help grow communities with this fractal process. And I'm also involved with a lot of blockchain stuff on EOS with Dogman Labs, which is a pseudonym that I sometimes go by. And I'm also been playing a big role leading with Eden Fractal, which is the second fractal right before this fractal where I learned about it, which we meet every week as well. So there's a bunch of stuff there, and that's just a quick overview. I'll try to keep it all short because of time constraints. So this week, I joined the Introduction to Alien Worlds meeting that Dwayne was talking about that he hosted, and that was really cool. I appreciate that. I'm planning to join these every week. We talked for like an hour or so. Dwayne had the meeting here, and then I also just liked and supported like all of Dwayne's posts really because I think that Dwayne's doing a great job starting this. I recently started a new channel with Eden Creators, and so I posted the video here of our meeting, and then while we were at that meeting, I also made a account on Alien Worlds, and I played it for the first time. I mined some Trillium, so I'm kind of a Trillium whale now, I guess. And then you also learned that, so I published that. That's the edencreators.com website if you want to check it out, and this is the edenfractal.com website. We meet with the Eden Fractal every Wednesday at 13 UTC for a similar kind of process for EOS. And at this meeting, I talked a bit about Alien Worlds and I helped promote it and encourage everybody to join. So I gave a presentation like this about the Alien Worlds fractal in my breakout room and to some EOS community members. And then at the very end of the meeting, I encouraged everybody to come join and learn about Alien Worlds, and thought this was a good synergy between Alien Worlds and Fractally and the Eden Fractal. So that's fractally.com, which I encourage you to check out if you haven't learned about it yet. And then during the Fractally meeting this week, the Genesis Fractally meeting meets every Saturday at 16 UTC. And I also shared a presentation showing my experience with Alien World so far. And then I also spoke with Dan Larimer and had some aliens, had some UFOs in my background, and I asked Dan a couple questions and kind of helped introduce and encourage everybody to come to the Alien Worlds Fractal. And yeah, so that was cool. And then I also spoke about it and asked some questions to Dwayne in the Fractal after party to learn more about it, and offer to help with the Alien Worlds Fractal. So hopefully that wasn't too long, and hope that made sense. And yeah, thanks again so much for being here and stuff. I'm super excited to learn about Alien Worlds.
You're a Trillium whale. That's a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
Early access. So who would like to go next? I mean, that might be a tough one to follow. Do we have a volunteer between David and Omer? I think I'm going to pass it up to Omer. I'm going to recommend, or I'm going to take myself out of this seat. The safest place in a group to not make decisions. So after you speak, you have to nominate the next speaker. So Dan, it's on you now.
Okay. I think if anyone would like to volunteer, then please say so. If not, then I'll nominate Jason.
Serves me right. Serves me right. Yeah, okay. I'm happy to go next. I mean, for Alien World, same contribution as last week, which is like a third layer solution to it. I don't play video games. So it's not a thing against Alien Worlds. It's just that I don't play any video games. And what I do, though, is I organize a meetup called Cryptoasis, where I educate people about the space and how to operate in it and how to get started and answer all their questions. And it's actually come up to a bit of an advanced level where my group is talking about proof of reserves being broadcast by a proof of keys, where an exchange, a custodial service, should broadcast 100% reserve balance periodically. And that should become something like an industry standard for people to view transparently. I don't know. So that's not related to Alien Worlds really at all. It's indirectly, right? And obviously the governance around it is such an important tool. Fractally, like, I'm happy to participate in Fractally governance, even though it is practice on a project that I can't say that I've contributed anything directly to it at all. Not honestly. So I will leave it at that. For my contributions this week with Alien Worlds, tonight I'm hosting Cryptoasis. We do this every Thursday night, and tonight I'll be launching wax tokens. So I'm in the ecosystem, providing some food for something near it.
Awesome.
And since I have to nominate people, I'm going to nominate David because he's looking eager.
Hi guys, still really new to this fractal thing, trying to find out what it's all about. Doing a little bit of looking into. I'll follow the links posted in the last one to the website and check that. Sorry about the cat, he's trying to get his moment of fame. I've been an Alien Worlds player since February last year. I think it was the first game I actually played on Wax when I come to Wax, and it was purely because it said you get a free NFT. And I was freebie hunting, basically, just to see what I could get for free out of Wax, the same as I did all the other little tokens that I got, all the airdrops and things. Really got involved with like the community events and the community side of it. Then the other Dwayne, I think you know him, Dwayne Martez, he dragged me on board with Alien Army World, and then I was helping to manage the unofficial Alien Army group. Then we created the caretaker team where we was hosting untold amounts of events, for, you know, some of the various guys like Ultra Rare and things like that. And then finally got onboarded with Alien Worlds themselves. I now do Zendesk, communities, like community management, event management. I'm more of a community-based person. I like the tech and all that, but I'm not the brightest, you know, the sharpest tool in the drawer, as they say, when it comes down to a lot of that. So, you know, I know the basics. I know, you know, pretty much a lot of the errors that come out. So it was handy for me to go on Zendesk. Pretty much everyone knows me as the Red Wizard. So around, so everyone knows the Red Wizard throughout all the various different communities that we're in. Apart from that, that's kind of it for my Alien World journey, really, at the minute. Super excited to be around all these awesome people, some of the stories, and, you know, some people's, you know, even their educational careers. You know, it amazes me with a lot of you guys, like, compared to what I've done. It's incredible. So it's amazing to learn so much every day. Is a big learning curve for me. So that's amazing, because I love to learn new things. So I'm quite excited to be here in the fractal side and see what unfolds to this. I suppose the last one left is I nominate Omar.
Yeah, hello. I'm Omar. Let me introduce first myself. I'm over 4 years in the this industry. I mean, I am the new meet with the EOS network, because, as you know, we have a EOS token, and then as you know, maybe I remember the Chrome community on the EOS, and then I following that community, and I realized the Wax community and Wax token, and we have a Wax packet, and some of the, let me share my screen, it will be better. I think now you can see my screen.
Yeah.
Is,
Yep.
as you know, maybe you can remember, this was Wax bucket. As you know, I am on there. I'm following this system, and really I'm the every day no new thing on the Wax and EOS, and this area is, I'm really so happy in there. And about the Alliance World is I'm over near 1 year in the working with the Alliance World, and normally my position on the help to the user. The user have the program on the game, and I'm helping to them. But also, as you know, I am from Turkey, and we have the community on the Turkey, and also in the Telegram, and that's our community, and we are talking to as you know, about the Alliance World, and we have many new people, and they want to know the game. And as you know, if my team is went to the game, and they can write me on the DM, and I can help the team. And because really, if this game is the many people is the playing this game, and they are really every the month we get the news on our game, and we have a new system. And the last one is maybe as you know, is that one is the NFT point, and that NFT point is before that we have, but at time we delete that system. Now we again we get the new version of that, and we get the new version of the NFT point system. And as you know, if you can check the let me check, my internet is a bit. As you know, the right side of the tools, you can see some the point, and that is affect to your NFT point. And then, as you know, the lens is affect to your that point, and you are get the point. And if you can see is I have a 300 point, then I will get the discard. And after my point is finished, that button will be open. I will click and I will get that NFT, and maybe we can not use this NFT on the game, but I believe in the near future we will use that card on the game. Maybe they will open the new button on the left side, like as we also maybe the new don't know like that we have a mission part on that game, and I think we don't talk about that one maybe, but that's really good because the many people have a Trillium and they want to the earn like staking and then get the like more Trillium, but they don't know how can they do, but the mission is really so good about that one. I think for this week we have a small program on the that part, mission part, but before that it is working well. You are the stack your Ethereum on there, and we have some the time like 1 week and the 2 week and 1 month and 2 month, and then you can, after your time is finished, you can get some reward, and that's really so good. And each day we are getting to new thing on our game, and as I know we have sometimes the small the bug or small the problem on the game, but that is really normal because really when we check sometimes we have a meeting with our team and they are share us with the data of the users, and really we have a big community and big users, many users on the game, and that is the normal the bug or the mistake or some missing something, and that is the normal on the game because we really have a the high network on the game. And
I'm going to sort of cut you off because I just want to make sure we have enough time to come to consensus. But Omer, I appreciate how excited you are, and for the next intro meeting, I think getting into some of that staking, like having your assistance in that intro meeting was really pivotal. So I think I'll maybe talk to you on how we kind of break those intro sessions into just one little segment. We've got about 10 minutes that before consensus, and usually we have about 20 minutes. Usually this is kind of the meat and potatoes of the whole meeting, where we really kind of have an open dialogue of why we think someone rated the most and had the mythical level. And I've been in the space long enough that I know the contributions. Omer's been with us from the start. We did DAC-a-thons. He's always been there, and helping me on that intro meeting was really, really pivotal. But I'll just put one little link in to let you guys know what I nominate David for the mythical spot. Let's see if it goes in. Oh, it's not linking. What's happened with Alien Worlds was the communities took over to get their communities to put extra rewards on top. And it's just not the Omers of the world that are helping people in the official chats. It's these communities that have really built the bigger community. And the whole point of Alien Worlds is to add new tools and be able to do extra things on top of it. And Alien Army is one of the bigger groups. And if you ping them in Telegram and see how active they are, they would be a good example to follow of how to engage a bigger group. So so I would, if you might not have that information, you can go to Telegram and kind of look. And on this one, I would, I would nominate David for the most contributions. And usually we have some dialogue or just a thumbs up. And how we've worked in the past is sometimes the person that leads the conversation really influences everybody else. So sometimes we'll just like put the person's name in the chat and do a countdown of all like who we thought was the best. But in this case, I did kind of want to influence it because I knew you guys might not have as much information of how much contributions he's given. So yeah, that would be my nomination. We can have a discussion about it.
Thank you for that. I was gonna give Omer just one more minute, and I was sweating a little bit because like, okay, we're not gonna have time for this. But I thought he was on a roll to be my top vote. So, but you have extra information.
It's a big tie. Omer participated last week and did an excellent job helping me on the intro meeting, and Omer, I'm doing it more too because I want to make sure we really reward the new people that show up to the meetings as well. So just to follow a random link, David, into a group that we're not as active as you guys are. It takes a lot to spend the time on it, so that's kind of my reasoning as well. And it is a tough. I'll leave it to you guys because they're both very active members in the community.
Okay, so go ahead, Dan. Please do.
Okay, yeah, sorry about that, Jason. I just realized I was muted. I was gonna just add my perspective, which perhaps further complexifies it with small time, but I would advocate for ranking Dwayne as 6. I mean, what David and Omer are doing is awesome, and so I'm happy to rank either David or Omer as 6. But I would advocate for ranking Dwayne as number 6 for one. Bringing us all together at this meeting, and also I think this Fractally process can be super helpful. I think it will be super helpful for Fractally. Like personally, for me, I know I wouldn't have been here and met y'all if it weren't for Dwayne. And also Dwayne has been helping to promote it. He kind of was a bit understated, but he was also speaking with the big Fractally Genesis group and speaking with Dan Larimer and a bunch of people to encourage people to join. And then also he hosted the introduction, which was really helpful as well, which Omer also helped a lot too. So I would advocate for Dwayne, although if Dwayne doesn't want to be number 6 and Dwayne prefers David or we have a different preference, then that's fine with me too.
I'm sorry about the noise right now. Last week, there was a comment by one of our team members. Everyone elected me first, and they kind of said, shouldn't we be granular and see, isn't the mission who's done the most for alien worlds? And Dwayne, you're just kind of piggybacking off the Crown Group, and it's nice that you put this on there, but shouldn't the people that actually did the most for alien worlds? So I'm going to stick by my vote this time and say my top 2 votes would be David, Omer, and I appreciate the sentiment on Fractally, but I'm getting rewarded on that Go Fractally group for starting this group. So I'd rather kind of be granular and really grow this community and have the new people get the respect they deserve and stick with the kind of granular what have you brought to alien worlds. So I really appreciate all your help, Dan, and the sentiments, but in that meeting that I'll be talking about this, and I'll be able to get some respect in that group as well. So I'd kind of nominate David and first and Omer second.
Okay, cool. Well, thanks, Dwayne. Thanks very much, and that works for me.
We're fast tracking it. I was going to say that the next thing we're supposed to do is we're supposed to broadcast our votes, and then we're supposed to talk about why we picked who we picked. So we've sort of broken protocol by introducing some logic first, which we might have to do because we're short on time. So how about we put it around the group and see if we get consensus for same order in which we presented, put it to David first and then Omer after that, and then we'll broadcast our votes.
Sure. So suggesting just put all 5 from most contributions on top to the and just kind of go down in the chat.
So rank order, when we broadcast, we'll type in a rank order voting 1 through 5 and then see what mismatches.
Yeah, and let's put the mythical as a top and just put the person's name, just to keep a first name, to keep it simple, so we're not cutting and pasting wax names. Does that make sense?
Making us do work.
We don't have to do it.
We
don't have to do it in the text either. You know what I mean? With the sake of time, I guess, do we all kind of agree on that consensus as the people that contributed the most to Alien Worlds this week is David and Omer, first and second? What do you think, Jason? And this is
Well,
not a
to-
process where you get to
word
be
on that,
shy.
although, yeah.
Sometimes
that.
people think that we shouldn't vote for ourselves. No, this is a time to speak up for yourselves, because you guys have done a lot of good work. So it's not, so yeah, I would say if we get to first and second, then we can get to kind of go through the rest of the list. Yeah. Thoughts?
Well, we're now unorthodox. This is a special experiment because we're not experimenting the way the experiment is like. We're mixing it in a different humidity condition under high pressure circumstances. So I'm fine with it.
It's fine by me too. I wonder if David or Omer have any thoughts about this, or if we should just submit the 1 through 5 like Jason was saying, or next to proceed. I have my 1 through 5 that I'd be happy to share if we want to move on, or if anybody else wants to share anything, that's cool either way. But I think we only have like a minute or so left, right?
Well, I'm not going to send this back till we come to consensus. So
Okay.
3. I'm letting you down as a moderator because Dwayne keeps stealing the show. Dwayne, you're playing jazz with this shit, buddy. Come on, man. Am I running this or not?
keep me on track, man. Keep me on track.
Jesus, man. All right. Look, everybody write in the chat 1 through 5, please, and broadcast it, and then we'll discuss.
Okay, but should we broadcast it at like the count of 3 though?
Let's do it after we're ready. That's
Okay.
all right, and then count.
Okay, sounds good.
Everybody ready? Should we do the countdown?
Ready?
All right. 3, 2, 1, post.
Okay, we got answers from David. It looks like Omer and David's broadcasted Omer as the top spot. We're gonna have a hard time with consensus, fellas.
Well, we only need 4 to 5 for consensus. So
I'm only here to learn. I'm not overly fussed about being top. I'm just here to learn and and progress on with everyone around. So I'm happy with whatever you guys decide.
Okay, so there's Omer's vote, right? David at first, and then Jason and Dan, and didn't leave Dwayne off of that, or where's Dwayne in your order there, Omer? Fourth. Don't be shy now. We gotta at this point we have to make them match, right? So we have to share our logic as to why we voted for who first, and 1 minute's main room. So let's hear from Dan first, please.
I was going to say, it looks like I think David has 4 to 5. So I think David is 6, and then Omer has 4 to 5 too, I think. I'm not sure if I'm reading this correctly because everybody formatted a little bit differently, but is that correct? Or
4 to 5 per second, yeah.
okay, so then we're on to rank sorry, I'm calling it rank 6, but we've got the mythical and legendary. Now we're doing the epic, which is rank 4.
3. We got to figure out 3 and 4.
Okay, so I would certainly advocate for Dwayne being number 4, which is third from the top, right behind David and Omer.
Yep. Okay, I'm willing to change my vote. I voted for Dan to be that spot, and that's because he's a Trillium whale. And I know it's like, when you're playing the game, being poker, it doesn't matter everyone's playing poker together, but the one who's bullying the stack makes a difference, right? So like that's its own contribution.
That's true. I do have 0.3 trillion that I mined. And then also I think I earned 30 from this. So I have some influence in the Alien Worlds community. I could probably buy some planets if that's a possibility to do in the game.
that deserves something. Dwayne just confessed he hadn't logged in a year and he needs somebody to help him.
Oh, I
It's
haven't unlogged. I haven't unlogged. I mine every day.
Okay. Okay, I'm willing to change my vote to Dwayne. I'm willing to, but I've shared my logic as to why I chose Dan. And so, does anyone else need to change their vote on that one? Omar, David, who did you guys vote for behind yourselves? See in the chat. David ranked me third, then Dan. Oh no, yeah. And Omar rated. I'm confused by Omar's formatting a little bit. Where do you want Dwayne to land in this one, Omar? Yeah, I think we can. Well, that's what we do the discussion, is that some of us will change our votes. And we have this discussion part of it so that we can arrive at consensus. After we know the initial layout of how people's like first impression is, then we negotiate for people to change their votes. Some people are stubborn and some people aren't. That's the experiment. And I think it's helpful to keep in mind that let's imagine everyone in the group really wants to win. Okay, because everyone in this group is being really magnanimous. We're all sort of being like modest about it. But let's just pretend for a minute that this makes the difference between like having a house or not. Like you really want it, okay? This makes the difference between having a house and a shack, the second and third.
Well, I think that Dwayne should have the house for that position. Has that been decided? Has Dwayne been decided as the epic yet? Or number 4? Sorry if I'm getting it confused between the ranking numbers, but Dwayne third from top, I think, is what it should be, because Dwayne he's done great work. So that's what I think it should be. And
okay, so we need to hear from Omar. We need to hear from David. What do you guys think? Do you agree that Dwayne is the third largest contributor, second or behind yourselves this week?
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, as Dan said, I wouldn't be here talking to you guys now if it wasn't for him posting in our community managers channel. A few times I see it, so I thought I'd better check it out, and like he says, if it weren't for him, then I wouldn't be here either. So that's enough contribution for me.
And Omar, did you say yes at the same time?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'm comfortable with it too. I think that Dwayne, would you write for us in the chat what the code words are for all the rankings, please? And I think we've come to consensus around the top 3 spots so far. So the ones that are left are between myself and Dan. And I voted for myself higher than Dan. Dan voted for me higher than himself. So we're both out of this conversation. It's between you 3 for which votes you want to make between, and keep in mind that Dan's a whale. I'll start with Dwayne. Dwayne, what do you think?
Dan came to the meeting and I just like he actually spoke up in a larger Go Fractally meetings and kind of gave us a plug to a huge group of people. And then I just see the work that he's done. He came to the intro meeting. So yeah, I just really appreciated you kind of sticking your neck out there and kind of, with a whole big group of people advertising the group, and then really appreciate how much effort you put into your weekly report, and then also attended the intro meeting. So I'd put Dan for next.
Fair point. Okay, good. And so back to, let's go to Omar first because he's unmuted. Omar, do you agree that Dan, do you agree with Dwayne that Dan deserves the 4th spot in the list? in the rank order? Are you
David?
muted?
Yeah, is David?
Sorry?
Sorry, I cannot, the last sentence cannot hear.
Oh, sorry. I said, do you agree with Dwayne that Dan
Yeah.
deserves the 4th spot in the rank order?
Yeah, okay.
Sorry, yeah? Or
Yeah, I'm agreeing.
All right, we got 60 seconds,
But
guys.
okay, I mean the alternative there would be ranking Jason above me, which I think Jason has been contributing a lot to the Wax ecosystem and way more than I have, and organized meetups too. So we have short time, but Jason would be a very fine choice for being for being rare, and I'm happy to be uncommon as well. But like Dwayne said, we only have like 50 seconds or whatever, so we gotta decide soon.
I think the logic is stronger for Dan in the direct impact on alien worlds. And Dwayne is speaking from a place of experience of observing all that. So David, what do you think?
It's a tough call. Do you know what? Just for the whale status, I think I'll have to go for Dan. Just for the whale status.
I think I agree with that.
Okay, I'll post it here and just to
Okay.
make sure we're on the same page. And I'm just posting the top to the bottom here. And so the top level is mythical with David, legendary Omer, epic Dwayne, rare Dan, and uncommon Jason.
The next time that I'm shoveling with my basic shovel, I'll think about you guys and I'll donate some of it, and I'll maybe I'll commemorate some of the trillium in your names or something.
That's awesome. Hey, it's closing us out. So I'll see you guys in the main room here.
Okay, cool. Thanks, everyone.
Oh, here comes everybody else. Yeah, okay. I thought it was me. I was like, I was the only one left, and then thought I was still in the breakout room. Dwayne, you gotta get your timing right, homie. You gotta stop watching the monkeys behind you.
No, it was my fault. I was supposed to be the moderator. The problem was Dwayne was a little bit out of line too often, and I didn't keep him in check.
Dwayne out
Just
of
playing
line.
jazz.
I can't believe it. I've never heard of that before.
He was winging it with the format, winging it. He's like, supposed to do it a certain way.
Oh, so now we have Jason as the arbiter of what's going on correctly. Oh man, we got bigger problems than that.
Yeah, that's right. That's rock bottom, bud.
All right, I think everyone's going to be back.
We did achieve consensus, though.
And
we need a little overtime.
And that was a very good time.
I think it was a really good lesson to not be rushed and change the format, Jason. I really appreciate that you spent the time and made sure everyone had a dialogue around it instead of me, overly voicing my opinion. So the whole point of this is that process of having one person go, no, this is to consensus. We need to hear people out. So I think what we'll do is just recognize that, some people kind of, we're just to give enough time for the intro meeting, and that this meeting every time has gone to be about 15 minutes after. So I think I think in the sake of us not rushing and feeling rushed, that maybe next week I'll just let everyone know we're going to be an hour and 15. Yeah. Or start 15 minutes earlier. But all right, how is what we'll do first is put everyone's consensus in the chat.
So does everybody see mine? I put it in about 5 minutes ago. It should be there.
Should we put the room number also?
If I can get one person to acknowledge.
You can. It's not too necessary. You don't have to.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't remember myself what room number was already.
So if you guys are able to hear me, request someone verify my consensus has been posted to the chat.
Mark, I can see it.
Okay, great. Thanks.
I think you were the first one. I think that everybody else put the names and then their Wax account, and you just put in the Wax account. or I'm sorry, David did it. Or actually you and David both did it. So I'm not sure that it's clear which account goes to which person in the group.
Just
or that was in the
remember,
room, but I'm not sure that matters.
just remember that what you put in the chat when you're in the breakout room does not follow for everybody in the main room.
Yeah, I don't see Mark's message.
So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm saying it because I was in that room. My bad.
Well, if you're in the room, you see it because you're gonna keep what you did in the breakout room in the main room, but everybody else is only gonna see what was done in the main room.
If everyone can please repost it, I think that'd probably be helpful just to make sure that that we have consensus on recording. I think Dwayne's recording and the recording of the video is helpful just to make sure that we have consensus.
Great, thanks, Dan. Also, if someone can reach out to David, say maybe I could, or Dwayne, you may have his contact. And I saw him post it in our private room, and it looked like in the main room the same thing that I just posted. That is our consensus.
Mark, I just reposted it. I just reposted in the main room. At least I think I did. So
that's great. So we got 2 out of 3 of our people that have been able to make that public. We're looking for a third, which is David, but he had to go obviously hard stop.
Well, two out of 3 is a consensus, so it should still work, right?
Yeah.
That's right.
All you need is 2 out of 3 people to post.
3 out of 3 is better for the sake of the third person. That is reputation, in that they are able to reach consensus.
Well, Mark, I just posted it. Do you want to repost it in the main room?
I have about 2 minutes ago.
Oh, okay. And then I just posted it. So that should be enough.
Great.
David is mythical. Okay, now I got it. Jose. David is mythical.
All right. What was how did the consensus process go, guys? Any lessons learned? Any fun? Any sharings?
So when it came to recording, that was one of the main issues. My graphics card software that I normally would record on didn't want to work, as typical. And we couldn't record via Zoom because we didn't have the permissions to. So I ended up taking notes instead and did the best I could just by written with hand, but like I might have missed some stuff out. So next time it would be good to have that sorted beforehand so we can definitely record that. I've got enough hard drive space to be able to do it. It's just, yeah, it was all by manual dictation.
I appreciate that. I thought I shared, but that's my mistake. So I'll figure that out for next time.
One comment I did have, Dwayne, related to that that we talked about was it seemed like the contributions, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with this, but it seemed like the contributions were much more based on the roles that were taken in the room, because nobody knew what other contributions were being made externally, right, or outside of the room, right? So David might have done a whole lot of work or a whole lot of contributions this week, and that maybe should have played a large, I'm not, hypothetically, let's put it this way, he might have put in a whole lot of contributions since the last meeting, and I'm not sure that would be well distributed or articulated in the room to know that he should have been, you know, a higher rank or higher, however you want to describe it, you know, than just, you know, the moderator and so forth. And I'm not trying to, you know, say that there's anything wrong with that, but David was making the point, which I think is good to mention here, is that the level of information about what was done, what contributions were made outside of this particular meeting or room should be better shared. And in a small group, it's easy, but as David pointed out, in a larger group, where you don't necessarily know everybody, that becomes much more impactful, if you will. So I think it might be good to have some sort of mechanism of sharing with people in your group or in your room what other contributions you made that weren't immediate in that room.
Omer, you have posted that David is dancing joy 11. And it's not correct. It's Dan dancing joy 11. David is not dancing joy 11.
Yes, that's correct. The easiest way to do is probably just copy what Dwayne wrote. I'm pretty sure that Dwayne got it correct, unless any of the addresses are misspelled and not positive. But that's what I did. I just copied and pasted what Dwayne wrote, and that makes it easier.
Okay.
Yeah. That's the problem. When we copy something from someone else, we are not taking our time to check. We should check every time ourselves.
Yeah, it just kind of difficult with the Wax accounts. They're kind of difficult, like, to remember how they are. So I kept flipping back and forth trying to type it correctly, and then I was glad when Dwayne typed it.
Yeah, sure. That was just a stupid remark of myself.
Yeah, I'd say a suggestion that I'll take just on the formatting is I'll get people to sign up in the Go Ƒractal group, and there's just a little Google page, and that way I've got your Wax account, and we'll keep it really simple for the next ones. Is just post the people's name, because I noticed for me I have to put my reading glasses on. I don't want to make a mistake, but I'll kind of make sure that when we get into the intro meeting that everyone's done that, and it'll be a little bit less clunky. Yeah. And then the process is always going to be a challenge in just a 3 to 4 to 5 minute what have you contributed, to really assess. And I've seen some different formats where after now about, I think there's been about 14 or 15 meetings in the larger Go Ƒractal group. I see now people are they're researching if someone's actually done stuff. In these intro groups, it's more about networking and just going through this process. But people are starting to post their contributions. Some people are posting their contributions in Hive to say, hey, this is locked down in a blockchain. Some people are giving a little presentation. And even if someone's just exaggerating, that kind of gets worked out over time. As the community grows, we end up knowing each other, and sometimes it's supposed to be random rooms, but you start getting in the same rooms with people and someone's just regurgitating the same stuff. It kind of works itself out. So it's not supposed to be, but it is an imperfect process that averages out over time. And it's not a process for us to be able to validate the legitimacy of any of this in real time. So it's kind of why I started for Alien Worlds, is keep it really granular. Because if we just came to this group and like, what have you contributed to the world? Oh, how subjective would that be, right? So just using this as a really granular group to focus on that. In our group, I really appreciated, a few things were like saying, for Dwayne, you did a lot. And I propose that the people that I see in the community, being David and Omer, did quite a bit more up to now and last week in the Alien Worlds community itself, and that I'm just putting a layer on top, and also just admitted and recognized that the effort I'm putting in to organize this, I'm going to take that to my weekly meeting in the Go Ƒractal group and showing how that's, this group itself is helping that whole endeavor. So I think we'll kind of re-emphasize that at the beginning of every group, that first, it's super important that you come, even if you're not into this, just to practice the process, because the only way we're going to flesh out these ideas and get better is to have more people and go through the governance process, and then to keep it granular, except for now, of like, what have you contributed. I did put 3 points of how do you kind of look at contributions, and one was, what have you done in Alien Worlds, what have you done to invite people to this group, and then how have you ranked in the past. So for the next groups, I'll kind of make sure I give that as an introduction. How about the other room? How did you guys find it?
Well, I think that's probably ours. We had 4 folks at first, and then it dropped to 3. I personally got a lot out of it because I was impressed with how, like, there was so much kind of potential for what I had contributed, but it was a brand new community or a brand new fractal. So I didn't really speak to anything or much of. I was just kind of like, here I am. We just kind of did heavy on introductions and saying hi, but it was really interesting seeing David and Extra, 2 people from a totally different community. And that was my personal takeaway. I was like, wow. I mean, talk about a network effect. And we didn't speak to that at all, but I was impressed. I was like, whoa, we could easily talk about the stuff that's been going on outside of each of our visible lines of sight. But we wrapped it in 3 minutes, so it was a quick introduction, lots of respect, and then we went with immediate. I had volunteered to be a moderator. David had volunteered to be a timekeeper, and Extra was just happy to be there. We were all 3 just like, okay, let's do this, and we came to a consensus. And we finished it, and that was kind of the localized version of what we contributed, as Extra had described about 5 minutes ago here in public. We never really got to larger contributions, and much less those super subtle contributions, like we're all standing this up. What kind of effort and value and potential energy are we lending is an enormous amount. We don't have a list for what's most valuable, what's second most valuable, what's third most valuable. Say, did you invite someone successfully? Are they here? And where does that fall on that short list of 10 items that the community generally over time has decided, here's the most valuable, the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th. So we know nothing as far as our own value right now. My 2 cents.
Yeah.
Good point.
Just to add to that real quick, just to dovetail with Mark's saying, I think that's kind of the point that I was making a second ago, right? Is that it seemed very granular certainly in our group, was that, like, moderator was number 1, timekeeper was number 2, everybody else number 3. Just in that specific group, right? Not what was done, in a much larger context and maybe a more impactful context, right? Because being, moderator or timekeeper is great, but those are somewhat transactional in a way, right? And maybe the person who's in the 3rd spot, as I was, and this is again hypothetical, had done a whole lot more, but wasn't explained to the group, right? Wasn't explained in that room, right? So am I incentivized? Is that person, should I say, incentivized to continue to make those contributions? And then have to say, well, in addition to the contributions I made externally or independent of this group, now I have to be moderator, because that's the only way I'm going to get a reward that's proportional to the contributions I made, right? I think there needs to be, and Mark and I talked about this with David, it seems like there needs to be a decoupling or more information, as David put it, for everybody to say, like, yeah, I know you weren't moderator or timekeeper, but you put in this huge contribution. Those roles shouldn't define, who is in that hierarchy, for lack of a better expression. So anyway, I'll leave it at that.
Well, I agree. I mean, and yeah, that is definitely what you were saying, in that we were struggling to with time. In our group, we ended up agreeing first to keep our decision distilled to Alien Worlds in a 1 week time frame. What can you say happened? And subjectively, we were sort of evaluating what one contribution means over another, or something that's tangentially beneficial, right? Even if you don't play the game. And that the thought that occurred is that we could assign scoring or weighting value to certain things, just roughly speaking, maybe. I mean, I don't know enough about the game actually. Stuck already.
Jason,
measure objectively.
Jason, I do think, and I don't think we have this problem now, but I think in that kind of structure in the future, you see people gaming the system, right? So if I know I'm going to get 10 points on a 10-point scale for posting something or tweeting something, then that's what I'm going to do, right? I'm not necessarily going to do what is the most advantageous contribution. I'm going to do what is in this kind of arbitrary point system. To your point, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that necessarily. And at some point, there has to be some sort of delineation on what is the value of your contributions, right? Whether that's a point system or that's subjectively in your room or in your group. Those things are always going to happen, right? So. And I don't have a good solution. I don't have a good alternative to what you're suggesting. I'm just saying that like that's human nature. That's the way things go, right? So just something to keep in mind.
Yeah, very much double-edged sword. But what if the score has a multiplier effect for what we call in basketball the matrix effect? In basketball, you often get a player who's really good at one thing like rebounding, but really bad at something else like free throws. Or vice versa, like a basketball player is really good at assists, but really bad bounds. but the matrix effect is when one player impacts all of the scores, and that's viewed as sort of the most valuable contribution on a team. And that we could make a scoring system that's like that, where it's not you don't just get a score for one thing that you do. Well, you do. You get a score for one thing that you do specifically, but then you apply a multiplier effect to having scored on multiple vectors, or all of them.
No, I agree. Another way to do it is also to make it kind of somewhat random, right? Or have it change. So it's not a static thing, right? So, maybe what's worth hypothetically what's worth 10 points this week is worth 5 points next week, or there's some random amount, some randomness to it, right? So you can't say that, I'm going to get this many points for doing this week, because what you did last week that got you a lot of points may not be worth as many points this week, right? So it's more incentivizing people to just contribute in any way, not knowing how many points in this hypothetical example you're going to get. Right. So a tweet might be worth 10 points last week, but it's worth 1 point this week, and it's worth 4 points next week. And you never know kind of what it is. So you're more motivated to do everything and spread your efforts and your contributions across all these different fields, right? Because at least that way I know I'm going to get, if I bet all on black, then if a black comes up, at least I know that I'm going to get some sort of contribution, right? So I'm not necessarily going to only do the one thing I know that's going to work. I'm going to do a whole bunch of things, because one of those is going to pay out. Might be another structure. And Dave, that's not to say, excuse me, Jason, that's not to say that I don't disagree with your matrix effect. I'm just saying there might be some more simplistic ways, in like random numbering drawing in this example, to ensure that people are doing as much as they can, because one of those might hit on a much higher point scale.
One thing that's come up in the Go Fractally is it's come to a point where it's awesome. Everyone's definitely doing something. And it's now getting to a point of how, how do you value a technical person versus a marketing person? Then it's got even into a different realm of going, hey, the Fractally team is building this. They deserve a lot of respect. And then it's getting into, hey, are you volunteering? Are you a community member? Or are you getting paid? So it's really neat once the group expands when right now it's a little bit of a different group because we want new people that just want to try out this Fractally process. What I'm seeing over in Fractally is there's more of a majority that are definitely doing something. And man, you get into some of these rooms and you're like, oh, I thought I did something, but then you're stacked up against Dan Larimer, Dan Singjoy, Joshua that's running the whole portion of something, and you're going, oh wow, and you come in last and you just worked a lot that week. So it's really neat to see though that averages out, and the next time you're in a room that someone's brand new. So it's not going to be an expert system. And what I really appreciated our group is Jason brought it back down to the dialogue, right? And just didn't make sure someone, because I gave my opinion saying, hey, you guys might not know these two characters in the group, but they've actually done a lot. And they should be ahead of me. I've invited a few people, but Jason really brought it back down to, hey, let's have a process. If nothing else, let's have a consensus of the process and make sure everyone's heard. Let's just not you give the list and everyone just follows along. So getting into the rating and voting and different things, we've done that before where we give out rewards for, hey, you did this many posts, get rewarded. And I think if we lose this social part of the Fractally, it's going to get more into that mechanical voting. And I think, I think this is the fun part of the community kind of figures it out, and where it's not a prescribed, do this, get some votes. And it's always going to be difficult to judge what someone did. But I guess I appreciate that at the very least, instead of a worker proposal system where you're promising to do something, this is for at least work done in the past. So at least we've got to that part. and as the community, the Go Fractally community is about what have you done to promote this Go Fractally or develop it. So it's very granular as well. But yeah, hopefully we get something out of this so we can discover how we can communicate and come to consensus better, right? So sorry about
you think about everything you could apply decision making methodology to, and the list is long. In our group, I noticed that we were all getting introduced to each other and probably trying to get off on the right foot in our relationships to make good impressions and make good introductions. So we weren't treating this vote outcome like something that we were competing for, right? Which is, I think, part of the point. It's supposed to be a competitive process, but also one that puts us into parameters where consensus is better than nothing. We have to make agreements on objective reality one way or another. And I mean, I love randomization. To take it back to the point we were talking about first about what is measurable, what is measurable for us for this. I think that there's a distinction to be made between incentivizing the game, incentivizing the whole game, thinking in terms of systems for the game in order to create its network effect and expand it and get all the sort of busy beehive activity that you're looking for. That is distinct from coming up with something that is objectively measurable for the purpose of decision making, like in a Fractally governance way. But the use of randomization is extremely powerful, right? In terms of maybe not knowing the size of the reward. Maybe it's all like mining, right? Like mining is like that. When you put your hash power to something and you don't know if you're going to hit the block with your pool or not, that time, but it's like you just keep doing it, and that works, right? So to sort of agree with what Extra is saying, and there is a lot of room to integrate randomization in order to get better data, in order to get better responses and better outcomes.
Yeah,
it avoids people sort of gaming the cherry picking sort of approach.
very interesting what you said. Yeah, in my group with Eric, very interesting. First, he asked us what we mean about what we think about fractal governance. What does it mean for each of us in our group? And after that, we spoke about our contribution, what we have done, and then we decided who deserve, let's say, what are the best contribution, what are the regarding the level of the contribution, maybe not focus on the people. That's what I love. With the Fractal Genesis on the Saturday that we are evolving, we see that we don't need to elect people, or we are just leveling, making a level of the best contribution regarding the best data, the best information, the best data, and maybe turn into knowledge. That's very interesting. And then the people, because you can love someone now, and maybe tomorrow it's no more the case, because it's about the data that this person is sharing. And when this person will share again something beautiful, you will say, wow, I love this guy, or I love this woman, because she's sharing something interesting, and this something is information, data, and maybe better knowledge, because that has been turned into knowledge. So I think that's a very nice experiment, each of those fractal, the Genesis one, the hidden fractal one, this alien world one. So each fractal has a culture, has a mindset, and then each of those fractal are operating for themselves, so for the best independence, autonomous. And then when you see let's say a common value, something common, you decide to connect with another fractal or another circle, I would say. So that's very beautiful, because that's modelized collaborative circles around EOS, those fractal that we are creating now with Alien World, Hidden Fractal. But Hidden Fractal is a little bit special, because that's linked the Hidden on EOS board with leaders, people that were elected to be leaders, and to recognize that we have a lot of information into our ecosystem. So that Hidden Fractal, for me, it's a good place to go every Wednesday, 13 UTC. And this Alien World also interesting, because there is this gamification and this DAO world. So I would say we are making something beautiful, and it is not a loss of time, a waste of time, I would say. I prefer to come here than to go into a quiz. Like I love EOS support, but I was confused today because there was the EOS support event on Twitter Space, and at the same time there was this fractal event, and I had to make a choice, and I have chosen to stay here, because that's mean a lot. So I'm very, and also very cool with this process. We are experimenting the same process in every fractal, but we meet different people. That's the beauty. So I have never met Eric before, and also Conman and Jose Bazanta from Venezuela. I have always seen my NFT. I have earned an NFT from him from Venezuela, but then I have never had the chance to meet him personally, virtually, personally. So that's the beauty. So Duane, thank you for this opportunity to be in this, to be into this fractal, and I enjoy to continue to come. Yeah, for sure. It's a good experience, and enjoy for sure. is on every place. But I have not an hologram. Cannot.
Well, thanks so much, Patrick. And maybe that's a perfect time. I'll maybe stop recording. We can have some open conversations. I sent some news out about some exciting stuff on another front with Extra here. But yeah, any closing remarks? I'll leave the room open. I'll just stop recording. All right. Well, thanks so much, guys. I will, and
Yeah,
sorry
thank you,
about,
everybody.
I didn't see the messages about not recording. I'll get my act together for next time for the other rooms here.